From the top of the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We're kicking off the final week of January with a visit from one of our favorite crypto guys. Butch Witkowski from UFOcop.com out of Pennsylvania is back with another edition of Strange Days, which happens the final Monday of every month. We're going to get into monsters, UFOs, investigations, techniques, and, of course, your questions for Butch as well. If you're in one of the chat rooms or on Twitter, Butch is a former police officer in Pennsylvania, taking his techniques that he used to find the bad guys with and now into investigations of the unknown. Tonight, Butch will share with us some great stories as well. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Butch Witkowski, always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm fine. Always a pleasure to be on the show. First show of the new year, right?
Exactly. Hard to believe we're already here, man. Hard to believe we're already here. And yet, we say that every year, don't we?
Yeah. Well, it had a little special meaning to me this year.
Yeah, I bet. Well, we're still glad to have you and glad your health is improving. I mean, you're getting a little bit more snarky, a little bit more condescending, a little bit more cranky, and that's just exactly where we love you, my friend. That's exactly where we just love you.
I'll tell you what, it sure feels a lot better than it did a few months ago. And matter of fact, my wife reminded me of that the other morning. She said, you're a real bitch. I said, yep, getting better.
Perfect. See, that's the stuff your fans love to hear, because then we know you're doing just fine. We know you are just fine when you start acting like that, so I appreciate that. Butch, there's always listeners who may not know who you are or what you're all about, because we have a lot of first-time listeners always coming in. What got you into the cryptid world?
Oh, the cryptid world, that was, I honestly couldn't answer that truthfully, because when I got my first report of a cryptid, which was a bipedal canine, I didn't even know why I got it. And all I know from the gentleman that submitted the report was he went on the internet, he was looking for somebody, and of course our website, UFOcop, comes up. UFOs, paranormal, cryptozoology. He saw cryptozoology and he filled out the form, and it took off from there. And it just fascinated me, because everybody has their thoughts about Bigfoot, everybody has their thoughts about UFOs. But this was strange to me because, right in the midst of researching this bipedal canid and what he told me he saw, what happened and how it happened, we had gotten a second report in pretty much the same area, 10 miles away. And, then the background research, talking to the indigenous out in Oklahoma, history in Pennsylvania of skinwalkers and anything I could think of. And then all of a sudden it was like, next report came. Now we're up to 59. And the thing that was totally amazing, when I got to the seventh report, every report was exactly the same. I mean, they were from different parts of the state, but the description of the creature was exactly the same. There was no differentiation in color, size, eye shine, the way it looked, how it moved, what it did. And I thought, well, usually, even with a UFO sighting, was it zigzagging? Was it a triangle? Was it a saucer type? Was it up, down? Did it stop? Did it make any abrupt turn? There's all kinds of stuff you can throw into that. But these sightings were all identical. I mean, from people just walking dogs to people out on hikes, state park rangers. I mean, the hunters. We had twice encountered hunters with rifles, and everybody. The stories were almost identical. It's just like everybody was reading everybody else's report, and we weren't publishing the reports. We were publishing the county, that we were working on, and that a strange creature had been seen, wolf-like in features, and that was pretty much it. We didn't really get down to a lot of stuff. And it just took off from there. And then, of course, people started sending in Bigfoot reports and photographs to look at and stuff like that, which, I couldn't do a little while ago, because of the illness, but, that's all gone away now. So I've been catching up to everything. And a lot of prints. I just got about 17 photographs of triangles in Missouri, out near Columbia, Missouri. And it is, actually it's Portageville. Yeah, Portageville. And Missouri's always been a hotbed for UFOs, going way, way back into the late 40s and 50s. And they're great. They're great shots. I mean, they are what they are, and it always makes me feel good when I can look at whether it's a set of prints or from an alleged Bigfoot sighting or UFO pictures or anything, and I can verify them. They weren't made up. The pixelization is the way it's supposed to be. They weren't, nobody framed them up to be fake, and but that's how I got into cryptozoology. It was basically, I think by mistake. I think the guy was really looking for a cryptozoologist, and he just happened to see cryptozoology on that front page of our website, and it just took off from there. And it's really grown into, I had enough files with UFOs, and those keep building up all the time, and abductions and all that stuff. But now it just seems like, I got a whole nother realm to look at, which is very cool because there's something out there. I mean, I can't say that I disbelieve or believe in Bigfoot. I can't say that I disbelieve or believe in bipedal canines. But the reports are reports, and you got to take them for what they are. And recently there's been just a ton of photographs on the internet of Bigfoot sightings. And some of them look pretty good, and some of them are, they're just taken in a pile of woods. So, they could be anything because they're not very clear. But there's a couple out there right now that are interesting. And this new show that came on, Bigfoot Expedition, that made me, I'm not a great fan of anything on television that has to do with paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, or anything else. But I watched the whole series only because they were using more modern technology. It wasn't, nailing pork chops to the trees. It wasn't running through the woods with a torch and stuff like that, screaming at the top of their lungs. They were using state-of-the-art scanners. They used a blimp. They used a lot of techniques that normally aren't done. And then they did revert to some of the old, like the gifting. They did some gifting. And that in itself was weird because the one thing, they had placed an apple with a marble on it. And that was like the third to the last show. And then the last show, a cameraman saw the marble laying in the grass. And they were like miles away from where they left it. So it almost seemed like, and then you had a couple of guys get sick from infrasound. And that's, infrasound is noted to make certain people sick. If people don't know what infrasound is, it's below 20 megahertz. We can't hear that. We can hear from 20 megahertz on up. and then I think the animal that has the highest sound detection at 20,000 megahertz is a bat. But people have gotten violently sick. It really came about many years ago. Big game hunters were getting sick over in Africa, all over Africa. Big game hunters, and they found out that tigers and lions have a low growl when they sense they sense you with fear. And it's below 20 megahertz, and it actually made people sick. They get dizzy, they vomit, they get heat flashes real bad. And it was funny that two of the people on the show, the one guy actually, RPG, he backed out. They weren't even there a week when he got sick. And the second guy, I can't remember his name offhand, but same thing happened to him. And it's always happened when something was going on. Either there was noise or the cameras caught something, or it was just amazing. It was a good show as far as the technology end of it, and there wasn't too much, how should I say, television genre put into it. And the one lady, she's an anthropologist. She was not a believer at all. I mean, every time they'd say something, she'd question them, which was good. That's what you want. And it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's going to be back on for a second season, but the season just ended yesterday.
Incredible. Mm-hmm. Butch, you have a wry attitude when it comes to these sightings, because you try and come into everything with a little bit of skepticism, but, knowing that a research job or an investigation needs to be done. What led you to believe that there is something going on, that there is these strange phenomena happening in all fields, that you feel you have had to put in a lot of time, a lot of money, resources into trying to figure out what is happening?
Well, the first thing that has always hit me from the very beginning, even with ufology, was that everybody can't be lying. I mean, every report's a lie. That's kind of hard to believe. And actually getting out, especially with the cryptozoology end of it, when we got out to talk to people face to face, I mean, to see grown men cry while they're telling you a story, or they start shaking so bad they have to sit down. Some refuse to go back to the same area. And I've had that with ufology. I've had that in paranormal stuff. But it's, I guess it's my belief that, if somebody's reporting something to me that's right out of Project Blue Book, I know they read the book. But it was different when I first started getting, instead of, getting a report in email and sending it back and this and that and the other thing, it was different when we got out to the field where you actually were talking to people face to face. I mean, there was no stuttering, there was no making it up. Their eyes were glued to you. It was just everything that you wanted to see in an investigation, where you're basically one-on-one with the individual giving the report. And I have faith that there's so many reports out there. I mean, Bigfoot reports, tens of thousands of those things. I mean, and they go way back. Bipedal canines go way back to before Roman times. There's enough paranormal stuff out there to make it go crazy. Ufology, I mean, it's up there. Whatever it is, they're up there. And just, I guess, knowing in my head that there's something there, and it's just try to do my best to find out what it is or where they came from or what they are.
Now, looking back on everything you have researched, received, reports, clues, are you a believer?
I believe there's something out there that we have no idea what it is. And that goes from using Bigfoot, that goes from the range of possibly a Neanderthal ancestor to a hominid ape. There's something there.
There is a giant debate as to what is actually happening out there in each of these spectrums that we want to look at in this field. Do you believe that there is a relation between all of the phenomena we engage on a daily basis?
Yeah, I do. I gave that so much thought over the years. It just seems like, depending on which way you run with it, it just all seems to be connected, Dave. I mean, certain things happen in ufology that happen in the paranormal, that happen in the cryptid, that happen in, you know what I mean? It's almost like following a progression. And it was more or less kind of an odd thing that they would all come together. I mean, you see something in certain reports that are similar to something else in another genre, and then you find the ones that are just pure bullshit, you know. And they have a lot of reports right now that we're getting are UFOs, along with photographs, and the photographs are good. And at the same time, we seem to be getting more photographs of Bigfoot-related things like prints or areas of sightings. Now, I think one of the things that is going along and helping is that a lot more of the researchers are starting to work together than they did before. And before it was kind of like, you know, don't turn your back. But now it seems like there's more cooperation, more sharing of information. More folks are offering to help, you know. They're not looking to put on, you know, a conference every week or, you know, be speaking outside at the local library and that stuff. It seems it's very odd in my mind, because you know and I know that the past has been nothing but, you know, one fight, one backstabbing after another, one bad mouth after another. And now it just seems to be turning around for some reason. There just seems to be more of the younger folks that are getting involved. We have more girls, you know, women getting involved. And I always thought that was pretty cool because, let's face it, you know they're smarter than we are. But it's different. At the same time, in my mind, it's all related somehow. I know a lot of, not a lot, but some folks try to connect the UFOs with Bigfoot, you know, or Bigfoot with UFOs, or the paranormal. Everybody always tries to come up with something new. But it's going to boil down to the same old thing. You know, we're going to need a body. That's what we're going to need. As far as UFOs, I mean, we got enough information on that stuff that, you know, we know what's up there. We know there's stuff flying around all the time. A lot of action right now is in the Midwest and the Southeast. And most of those reports are triangles. And they're not ours. They're way too big to be ours. So we'll see what happens when they get to Mars, hopefully, or get back up on the moon and see what they're going to do there. But, I do. I believe it's all connected somehow. How, I couldn't say, but I just have that feeling that it's all connected. There's some kind of connection that we're missing. Now, whether that's beyond our realm or somebody will figure it out, we can only hope.
Do you think there will come a day when more researchers are focusing on that entire aspect that it's all connected, or do you think it's going to remain mostly segregated as we got about 2.5 minutes left?
No, I think there's more and more feeling that way all the time. If you would have said something like that they were all connected 2 years ago, you would have been laughed off the stage or, out of the woods. But there are similarities, like especially in the Bigfoot realm and the bipedal realm, where strange lights are seen in the sky, orbs. And that's just not that was on the show. They showed it, but we have reports of that here in Pennsylvania, or where there's a bright flash of light, and all of a sudden there's some type of creature standing there, whether it's a Bigfoot or a bipedal, and there's another bright flash of light, and they're gone. And one of the things that always amazes me is, why can't a camera capture a good photograph of these creatures? They take the photograph, but they're blurred out. Now, that's just crazy, because some of these people out there are using some mighty expensive equipment. When you got a guy out there using a $5,000 camera and all he's getting is blurry pictures, there's something wrong. There's something. Do they have some kind of sense of what's going on? Can they do that? Like with the bipedals, when these guys are encountered with guns and they're pointing guns at them, they get these thoughts in their head not to shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. And they got their finger on the trigger and their rifle's loaded, and they don't shoot. They just figure out if they do, it's going to get real bad real quick.
There's a lot of people who've had that happen. A lot of people, even with Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So what kind of telepathic communication are we talking about now? There's so much involved in this. And I remember when I first started, and I know we don't have much time, so we may pick up on that when we come back. But I remember when I first started, I had one little binder, a couple of reports and a laptop. Now I got like 8 computers going, and a library, and a lab and everything else. It's never ending, but without looking, you're not going to find anything. You got to look. You can't sit and do your whole research at your computer. I mean, you can do your background research at your computer, or you can go to local historical society, but you got to be outside. You got to be in the field. You got to get out there and look, and caves, for whatever, intrigues me. I just have this thing about caves, and nobody goes into them. Well, we're going to go into them and see what they are, see what's in there.
Rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. All right, I'm going to get you to hold on here for a couple of seconds, Butch, because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Butch Witkowski's Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. Hard to believe we're already into the final week of January of 2020. We're going to get into some monsters, UFOs, and more coming up in the next half hour of Spaced Out Radio, The Strange Days of Butch Witkowski.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chide and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you'd know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know little brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines Report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for all of you joining us. Reminder that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The final Monday of every month, we bring in Butch Witkowski from UFOcop.com. And we get into strange days, strange monsters, strange UFOs, strange paranormal stories. Even stranger, can't even smoke anymore, Butch, because of his heart attack. Damn you, Butch. Damn you. Giving up one of your favorite hobbies.
Another thing I can't do. I cannot touch alcohol. Thanksgiving, I was down at my son's house, and my daughter-in-law gave me just a little glass of wine. I took one sip, I almost fell off the chair.
Aye.
Yeah.
So in other words, you're a cheap date now.
Oh yeah, I'm cheap. My wife's birthday is this week, right? Thursday. She's is her birthday, so I asked her tonight if she wanted to go out for a birthday dinner. So we moved down here, so we're still finding restaurants in the area because we've only been here a little over a year and a half.
Right.
And there's a seafood restaurant down the street, and it was actually run by my old coach at high school. And we went in there, and I came out of there, spent $160. I was happy camper.
Oh, that's nice.
I got to get control.
Well, you know what? The main thing is we got you. That's all that matters. Butch, I want to ask you about UFOs because going into late last year and a lot into this year, we're hearing that there's a lot more UFO sightings going on. We're seeing an increase in Sasquatch sightings, and we're going to get into those two in Seattle or in Washington State, pardon me, here in a little bit. But with UFO sightings, especially in the dead of winter, why are there so many being seen these days and reported?
Well, usually it's just the other way around. But in the wintertime, especially in the winter where we have when it's really cold and we have clear skies, starry skies, and if you're in a place where you don't have any light pollution, you can really see a lot of stuff. And I'm setting up I won't do it till spring now, but a little hard to work on out there with that. But I'm putting up an observatory in the backyard, and it's, for better lack of other words, it's remote control. So everything that's happening out there in the building, I'll be able to just watch on the computer here at my office or in the library. And there's some people getting some great shots. I mean, there's a fellow up in northern Pennsylvania in the Schuylkill County area. He has 3 cameras set up on a tripod that he made outside, and they're protected, but he scans the skies day and night. And he sends me these CDs, and I'll tell you what, there's some of the best pictures I've ever seen. Especially the daytime ones where, not many people look for UFOs in the daytime, but they're great photos. I'm going to get a hold of my webmaster to see if I can't start putting some of these videos on our website so I can share them with folks. But we'll see if he can get that done.
Do you think it's because that, with the attention that's gone through the UFO community, especially from people who aren't used to being a part of it, do you think that's because of what is happening that we're getting more reports like this? Or do you think it has more to do with the idea that people are just starting to spend more time outside because of global warming, man? Global warming, we got everything warm in the winters now.
Well, we're in the 40s here. And, right now we should be down, in the low 20s. And we're in the 40s. All this week it's calling for 40 to 45 for the whole week. The little bit of snow we had hasn't amounted to, I think, here, the most snow I got here in 2 snowstorms that we had. We had a half inch the first time and not even a quarter inch the second time. So it's just like the bipedal things get quiet over the wintertime because people aren't walking around out in the woods, especially up north where we have all the sightings, basically, because they do get really good snow up there. And but come spring, the crypto reports are going to start rolling in, and as long as we have clear skies, if it stays cool, we keep, like tonight, it's beautiful outside. It's about 38, but the skies are clear, stars are out, and I think another thing, there are so many things not only in the media, not just so much television, but newspaper reports and magazines now that are not only looking back at the old reports of UFOs like Roswell and Project Blue Book and all that stuff, Project Grunge, but I think it's enlightened a lot of people to just go outside and look up. It always cracked me up when I'd be at a conference or something and somebody said, well, how do I see them? You got to look up. You're not going to see them by looking into the neighbor's window. So I think there's a lot more interest in UFOs and Bigfoot right now. Not so much bipedals, because people really don't understand that. They, excuse me, they think dogman, then they think werewolf, and then, when you're saying, well, it's not a werewolf and it's not a dogman. So it'll come around. I'm sure it'll come around.
Do you think it's because, Butch, that, like you mentioned Project Blue Book and all of these really cool stories that have been on television, do you think that's what is driving people outside to stare up at the stars?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, because that stuff was, a few years ago, that stuff was never talked about. I mean, it was talked about within the UFO community, but there were no shows or books being written. You look at all the books on those reports, and those books are 10, 15, 20 years old. Now you got researchers, and they're not authors, they're researchers that are publishing their research. Their reports are being published. And that has a lot to do with it, too. And I will tell you this, and this is a fact. 10 years ago, if you would have walked into any bookstore, and I don't care if it was Borders or anybody else or any library, and looked up and were looking for UFO books or something on UFOs, if you found one, you were lucky. They just weren't there. Now, I was just at a bookstore a couple weeks ago, and they have like 2 shelves full of books. Now, a lot of them are reprints, but still they're there. So, if people have an interest, they don't just have to rely on, Channel 10 or whatever. They can zip on over to the library and buy a book and at their leisure do their own thing.
Well, it's something that I think it's good for the community that we're getting a bunch more reports. And people are spreading out the reports. It's not just going to MUFON. It's not just going to other groups. They seem to be spreading out quite a bit more. And I think any time we can get more reports, that's a good thing. Have you noticed, though, another rise in Sasquatch sightings?
Yes, absolutely. It's funny, especially up in your area.
Yes. Washington State, just below me, there's been a couple of highway cameras recently. Within I believe it was less than a week. One on I-90 near Snoqualmie, I think, and one on I-20, which is in the northern part of the state. And I thought they were incredible. I really, really did believe. Now, of course, there are those where if they're not the ones producing the news, they're immediately out there saying that these are hoax, these are fake, these are everything because, we have to go let our TV show make all of this news. But I think for the most part, these videos, Butch, have really captured the attention of the Bigfoot community, more so for the positive than the potential fakery.
Right. Well, I don't know much about this algorithm yet. The group that just did the Bigfoot expedition, they had somebody create an algorithm to show them the greatest concentration of Bigfoot sightings in a particular area at a particular time of the year, and that's how they wound up where they were for 21 days. And 21 days for an expedition is a lot of time. I mean, that's covering a lot of area. And one of the things I guess was really neat was all the stuff that they ran into. I mean, some of it you can go like, yeah, and the lady, the anthropologist, one guy said, well, it's possibly a print. She said, I don't think so. But it was just it was refreshing, I guess, just to me. I don't know about anybody else, but it was refreshing to me just to see the use of technology. They stayed put when they had something. They didn't run all over the place. They stayed put and watched it and put cameras up and, did the FLIR and infrared and thermal and all that stuff. And I think technology is, I've always thought technology is going to be the way to get anything out of the woods. But those game cams you're talking about in Washington, I saw a couple of those, and they really do look good.
What convinces you about them that we're dealing with the real deal here and not just somebody running around in a monkey suit deep in the snow because they want to try and stir things up?
Size. When you look at that, that's one of the biggest ways of telling the size of what's been photographed. And there's so many ways of measuring that, it's crazy. But, when you see, I'm trying to think of where that photograph came out of. I'm thinking it was Nebraska, maybe, where a guy took a photograph. And now it's at a distance, so I'm sure he had just a regular 35 millimeter camera. He didn't have any special 200 millimeter, 300 millimeter lens on it, but, probably a standard 50 millimeter. But you could see there was something standing beside this tree, and he went out after, just walked off, and then, he went out there and he found some footprints and stuff like that, but that's all he found. But there was a notch in the tree. Now, whether that was a lightning strike or somebody whacked it with an axe or something like that, but there's just a notch in the tree. So I measured from the ground where the footprint was up to that notch, and it was 10 foot. So when you took his picture and you put a marker on the notch to the head of the individual, it was a little over 8 foot. So with the hand extended up, it was a little over 10 foot. So did he get something? Yeah, I think he got something. But it's and then you get some pictures, you look at them and go like, I don't think so. There's one on the internet right now of somebody took a picture of a Bigfoot that looked like it has a deer hung over its shoulder.
Yes, I saw that one.
I didn't start to work on it yet. I did copy it. I do have it in the file, and I was going to start working on it tomorrow. Excuse me. But you should be able to tell, what that difference is in the body shape. And, if it looks like a deer slung over his shoulder, hey, it's what it is.
Now,
you can't
are Are we talking about the same one where there's that video of what looks to be, it's kind of taken uphill or across where the Sasquatch looks to be carrying something uphill? Is that the same one? Okay, good. Yeah, that one seemed very intriguing.
Yeah, and once I get into it and start really doing a few things to it to enhance it and lighten it up and stuff like that, I'm hoping that I can get a good outline. Because if he's carrying a deer, of course the body outline is going to be different, and it looks like there's something over his shoulder. So
why would the body outline? For those who may not be in the know, why would the body outline look a little bit different?
Because the deer is covering part of the body. It's hung over his shoulder. You follow me? So you're not seeing a whole arm. You're not seeing a whole arm. Almost looks like you're seeing. Now, like I said, I haven't broken it down yet, but it almost looks like he's got something over his shoulder, and he's holding onto it with his hand. Okay. And all you're seeing is the what looks to be like a carcass and the elbow, where his arm would bend, right below the carcass.
All right.
So we'll see tomorrow when I can take it apart and really look at it.
So if that is the real deal per se, okay, how important is that new footage considering the distance of it?
I consider all photographs to be worthy until proven otherwise. I wasn't really thrilled with the new show, with the type of FLIR they were using. They were the little pocket jobs, that you can get from FLIR for a couple, $300. They really didn't have any really hot setup FLIRs, like the camera video. But even at that, they have some thermal imaging there that you just can't deny. When they had this blimp up, the blimp was photographing everything in a quadrant, 12 square mile quadrant, and they were picking up huge heat signatures. And I mean huge heat signatures. You got to figure this thing is a couple 100 feet up there above the tree line. And you look down, this camera's looking down, and there's this huge heat signature, and the people walk right up on it. You can see them. The camera's photographing them walking right up on it. And when they get there, there's nothing there. Now, that's just crazy. Where'd the heat signature come from? And that happened twice. And then that's when they found the one cave.
Right in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a lot of these creatures, whether it's for winter protection or whatever, are using these cave systems?
I think they use them to hide. The one cave they found that they actually sent this robot camera in, they thought it only went back a little bit, but once they sent the camera in, they saw that it was like honeycombed with different caves. And then they lost the camera, so they went to the other side of the mountain to that cave, hoping that where the camera got lost was the same cave, and it was. They got the camera back out. But so they could spend all that time in their research area, which was, had all kinds of stuff happen in there, from orbs to tracks to structures, and it could have just walked in one end of the cave and walked out the other end. They would have never known it. And it's not like it's, the cave's only like 20 feet long. It's a couple 100 feet. I think it was 260 or something like that.
Now, are these caves, Butch, are they naturally made, or are these man-made caves from, say, minerals and gold and silver deposits that have just been relinquished back to nature?
No, they were actually cinnabar mines. Cinnabar is very dangerous. It's probably one of the most dangerous elements on Earth. It's used to produce mercury. And I just going into them and, just breathing could take care of you. You know what I mean?
We've got about 2.5 minutes before we got to go to break here at the top of the hour. Butch Witkowski's Strange Days continues. Now, with everything that you are looking into these caves, okay, caves have become very popular since the Hellier series with the goblins and everything like that. Are we going to see a lot more action and people going into caves, or has it always been there, Butch, but now we're going to probably hear more publicly about it?
I think you're going to hear more. Here in the state, we have 360 caves. Some are private. You can't get into them. I mean, they're just chained off or blocked. But there's a ton of them, over 100 of them that you can get into. Some don't go back very far. There was what they call a starter mine, where they just went in to look to see if there was any, what they needed to find, if there was ore there or not, whether it was iron ore or coal. But one of the things that I guess people should get themselves really acquainted with is, the air quality. So they got to take that kind of protection, air quality, lighting, safety measures like, roping themselves off. If anything happens, they can be pulled out. Some of them are quite deep. I found 3 that were over 500 feet deep. And then there's a couple that were flooded, So we're going to give them a shot. We're going to start in the area where we had our first reports. 9, I think we have in that area. So I'm just hoping I don't run and wake up some bear who gets pissed off.
No. At least you don't have the grizzly bears over there.
No, we have black bears, and they're in that 400 or 500 pound range. So
yeah. Child's play. Child's play for those of us up north.
I just don't want to piss one off, waking him up in his hibernation.
No, you never want to do that. You never want to do that. That's just not fun. Not very Christian at all, by doing that.
And if I do anything dumb like that, I want to make sure the truck is right outside the cave with the door open and the motor running.
Yeah, make sure you tie a rope to yourself so you know how to get back.
Buddy, you won't believe what I'll do to get back.
Well, I mean, you can... No, don't be faking your death. We've already had that once. We don't need that again in 2020. We do not need that again.
No.
I can see it. All right.
Thing.
Yeah, we got about 10 seconds.
Thing. Before we go, I feel a hell of a lot better.
Good. I love hearing that, man. I love hearing that, and I know our audience does too. And I'll tell you, Butch, we're all excited to have you actually get back into the field after this winter hiatus because, we all want to hear your stories. We need to feel you getting worked up, getting angry, getting saucy. Once again, Butch Witkowski's Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. We'll continue on with whatever we decide to talk about in your questions as well on Spaced Out Radio.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thieme. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spicing up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
We're into the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California. Hi, Chuck and friends. How you all doing down there? On the digital side, we are on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Oh, this is ugly. Real. We haven't seen a word this ugly since Cardwell was doing the passwords. Ilogo Fuscio Hippopapo Cunorius. I'm not saying it twice because tractor is your password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, grab a great book from We Read the Night, and join the Space Travelers for $5 a month. The final Monday of the month, we have Butch Witkowski, Strange Days, Butch's website, uforcop.com. If you want to check it on out, I highly suggest you do, especially if you have a sighting or something like that you want explained and detailed. Butch, thank you so much for joining us again tonight, my friend.
Oh, absolutely.
Start off with a couple audience questions. Lori in the Space Travelers Club on Facebook has been asking, she's wondering, Butch, if there's been an uptick on some cryptid activity in her area of western Pennsylvania around the Venango-Mercer area, because part of last year and this year so far, strange air-like animals have been acting odd or quiet besides the hunting season or weather.
That part of Pennsylvania has got some of the weirdest stuff going on you ever wanted to think about. Just to name a few: flying reptiles, Bigfoot, bipedal, dogmen, wild boar. I mean, that whole section of western Pennsylvania from Erie pretty much down all the way to Greene County is just, it's phenomenal with sightings of UFOs and Bigfoot reports especially. But it's been that way for a long, long time, and it crosses over the ridge that goes into Ohio. So, of course, you got that stuff run into Ohio and West Virginia. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on in her area.
Well, why is Pennsylvania a hotbed? What makes Pennsylvania so special?
you know what? I don't have an answer for that. But it's, when I first started doing research on UFOs way back in the day, Pennsylvania was just loaded, and it just seemed like, then when I started looking at cryptids, Pennsylvania is just loaded. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. I mean, and it's not so much in the eastern part of the state. It's more in the northeastern and from middle of the state all the way over to the Ohio line, West Virginia line. But the sightings were always many sightings. Pennsylvania at one point, a couple of years back, was in Bigfoot sightings, was listed number 5 in the country, the whole U.S.
That's interesting.
Now, our sightings in numbers don't, like going up into your area, our sightings are pins of what's going on in your area. So if I say we're number 5, if we have 50 reports in a month, which is highly unusual, but if we had 50 reports in a month, up where you live, there's 150.
Yeah, we just got to get people reporting them. That's what we need. Problem is, in our area, with all the reports we get, they're all, because people up here are not so much used to talking to anybody about it. We get them like a year, 2 years later, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it may be. That's part of the issue we have up here.
I mean, that's odd because you would think, especially in that area, that people would be reporting that stuff.
You think, but it doesn't always work that way. Up here, it's a little bit different, though. I think people up here, because we're in a logging community, because we are in an area where there's a lot of outdoor activities, I think people, for the most part, really try and shy away from that stuff. I mean, proving this creature can be a lot of money lost.
Yeah, true.
So that's kind of where we're at with everything with that. I mean, a lot of money lost in logging and those type of areas. And I think that's the big fear as to why we're not getting too many answers when it comes to this creature. There's a lot of money at stake here, Butch.
Yeah. It's Pennsylvania. I mean, my best way to explain it, it's just weird. I mean, from paranormal to anything else that you're looking at, it's here. It's you got Gettysburg, you got all these weird places, all these old prisons and homes for retarded people that wound up killing more people than they wound up saving. It's old cemeteries, Indian burial grounds all over the state. I mean, they're everywhere. Old forts from the French and Indian Wars. It's a weird state. Good for people that are interested in this kind of stuff, but to an outsider, if they started reading, there's a website. It's called Weird Pennsylvania, and it's fun to read because a lot of it's folklore, but some of this stuff is just bizarre. Witches and demons and goblins and gargoyles and flying this and flying that and giant serpents and you name it. They got it all. But that's just Pennsylvania.
And yet you live there. And you bug me about living so close to Sasquatch.
Well, yeah. I think I would prefer the quarter inch of snow here as to going up to your way where it might be 15 foot and a quarter inch.
The snow isn't that deep around here anymore.
No?
It's more or less more so about the cold, but we haven't had a real cold winter. We're going to get it here soon. I could feel it. I could just feel it. That's what I don't like. Now, where did you go? All right. Give me just a couple of seconds here, Butch, because I think I have lost you here for a quick second. Let's try and bring you back here. Interesting. Interesting, because we have all the levels, but we have no levels from Butch. We're going to call Butch right back here. Give me one quick second here while we get Butch Witkowski back on the air with us, so that way we can actually hear him. You know, because having a talk show with a guest you could hear is usually a good thing. Well, we'll get him back here in a quick second here. So the big question is, like, with everything that's going on recently, I mean, there seem to be these pockets of areas where we're seeing a lot more of the phenomena happening. The Pennsylvania area is one of them. And, Butch, one of the things I was just kind of talking, I don't know what happened there, you know, but we got you back. That's the big thing. We got you back. What about these pocketed areas that seem to pop up, you know, where there's multitude of sightings? Like we just saw it, even though there was only 2 reported so far, we just saw it in Washington State with the Sasquatch. We seem to watch pocketed areas with UFOs and with ghost action and so on and so forth. What do you think is happening in these areas when all of a sudden one area becomes very hot with action?
It's basically, it's really always been that way. Like, I haven't seen any reports out of Missouri in quite a while. I'm going to say a couple of years. And now all of a sudden, you know, Missouri's the hot spot. I mean, I get 17 photographs of something in the sky. Usually you're lucky if you get 1 or 2. And out of the 17, probably 14 are very clear. The other ones I really couldn't do a lot with, and that's probably because of the distance or the type of camera. And but there's a lot of places that happens in like that. Like our bipedals, although we had some in our Lichen Loop, our research area, in the southern part of the state, it doesn't even compare to what we have in the northern part of the state. Same thing with Bigfoot reports out around in the Farmington, PA area. There's reports out there on a weekly basis of Bigfoot. So, you know, all that runs along the Chestnut Ridge. And if folks want to research or even just look at some of this stuff, all they got to do is put in Chestnut Ridge, Pennsylvania, and Bigfoot reports, and you can look at all the reports out there, and there's all kind of things going on. Lights in the sky, orbs, pretty much all over the place. Not so much in eastern. I don't understand that. Not so much in eastern Pennsylvania. Mostly north and in the Midwest of the state and out west. Other than that, it's crazy. There's you have so much going on, you know, in one section of the state and nothing going on in the rest of the state, and then it's just like, it's not like the reports are taking turns, but it just seems like you're in the middle of doing something from the western part of the state, and then something jumps out maybe in the center of the state, you know, and you just go like, wow, that's crazy. But Bigfoot reports are up, UFO reports are up. Now, abduction reports are way down, way down. They were coming up for the last 2 or 3 years, maybe, in that 5 and 10% a year jump. But this year, I got 2. 2019, 2.
That is quite low.
Yeah. Yep. And if I look at the year before that, in that year, I think I had 15 or 16. So, and you know, I checked with Dr. Jacobs. I checked with a couple other abduction researchers. They said the same thing. When it was up, and then all of a sudden it just like fell off the side of the mountain and can't be found.
What about missing people?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, that's been going on for quite a while. I mean, you know, there's missing people all over the world. Look at Alaska. Alaska, what do they have listed, like 60,000 missing people? 60,000? That's nuts. Now, a lot of that are people that, you know, they were born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and they moved to Alaska thinking they're becoming the great white hunter, and they walk themselves out and they're never seen again. And there's a lot of them that, you know, see that grizzly bear or and want to go pet him or talk to him and wind up as lunch. It's very strange. A lot of weird stuff in the state, but there are places with stuff that's even more weird, like, you know, in your part of the country up north. Look at the missing indigenous. I mean, I don't even know if anybody even keeps track of them.
Well, they're keeping track. The problem that is up here is they don't even know how many serial killers there are. There could be one person doing it. There could be a team of people doing it, much like the whole mystery of the smiley face killers in the United States, right?
Right. Well,
so they just don't know.
I don't know. But, you know, it's kind of weird because, okay, so you have the indigenous up in your area that have that issue, but then when you get down into, like, the southwest of the United States, the same issue. We have missing indigenous. Some are found, some are not.
It is really sad when that is happening, and you know it's easy to you know blame anything at that point when you don't have any answers in regards to that. But like say with what David Paulides is doing, all right, with David Paulides and the missing 411, and I know you've investigated a number of these cases yourself. Are we seeing people just vanish like that still as often as it seems to be happening? Because I know a number of years ago you stated that, you know, there's around 65,000 people annually that cannot be accounted for, and in certain areas where these mysterious disappearances happen, there was UFO activity around there. So if abductions and everything are down, wouldn't missing people cases be down as well?
Yeah, but they're not. The missing cases just they just climb. There are just so many missing. And, you know, I spent a lot of time looking at missing cases, basically using not UFO reports, but I'm sorry, FBI reporting and stuff like that, stuff from police departments and stuff. And, you know, some of that stuff is just so strange. It's so weird. You can't even you couldn't make the story up if you were writing a book, you know, like, and I'm sure I said this on the show before. There was there's two that just make me crazy. The one was a contractor, lived in the Michigan area, and very well known, very well liked. He had a very large contracting company, so he employed a lot of people. And they were having a party at his house, and he went down, climbed on an ATV, drove down to the mailbox, which is about a quarter mile from the home. And he didn't come back, so they thought maybe something happened to the ATV. They walked down, the ATV was parked there, the engine was running. He's never been seen since.
Mm-hmm.
And you have another one that was in the Midwest. I don't remember the state, but a bunch of young folks, you know, in their early 20s, went out to a local bar to dance and all that kind of stuff. When the bar closed up at like 2 a.m, everybody went out to their front porch, smoke a cigarette, shoot the crap, and it was time to go. So the one guy went to get his car. They watched him walk into the parking lot that was very sparsely filled with cars. They saw him go to the car, and he didn't come back, and they went back there. The car was there. The keys were on the ground. He's never been seen either.
I just don't understand that.
No.
Don't understand that.
No.
Go ahead.
I believe it was maybe the Harrisburg area. I'm not sure of that. And there were a couple in upstate Pennsylvania where not teenagers, but, you know, younger folks, college age, were, you know, walking home from a party or walking home from a gathering of some type, and gone. Never made it. Only one body was found, and that was up around State College. And that was found in the water. But other than that, rest of them gone. And I think Pallades right now, I think if I'm not wrong, I think Pallades right now, I think Dave is working mostly trying to put a lot of his 411 stuff to Bigfoot. I'm not sure I'd go that far because, you can look at some of the people who live up in the woods. You know what I mean? They move so far out in the woods, they live there all their lives by themselves. We've had, you had murders along the trails. So who knows what happened to them? But they're just, the part I guess that bugs me the most is they're just never seen again. Nothing. The guy, his ATV is there, the other guy, the keys are there on the ground, and these two guys were within eye shot of family members, eye shot of their friends on the porch. The car was only less than 75 yards away. They saw him at the car, and he was gone.
Yeah, I look at the whole David Paulides thing, and I look at it, and I think there's portals, man. I mean, I know that sounds really far-fetched, but when you have cases, like there was a case in Ontario a number of years ago where a young girl on a horse vanished, and she was taking a shortcut back to the barn. Her sister and her friend took the long route. They expected to see her when she got there, but she was gone. The horse was gone. No trace of either one of them. And to lose an 800-pound horse, I mean, the person is easy. A child is easy to lose. I hate to put it so pragmatically, but a child or a person is very easy to lose. But a horse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On a trail that has no other exit besides the barn?
There are some of the, I don't know if you or any of your folks on the show have read any of the 411 books. When you try to pin that on Bigfoot, you would have to say that in the one report I read, it was just, I had to laugh. It was sad, but I had to laugh. It was a young boy was missing, and the body was not found right away, but they found his clothing, and everything was folded up neat, just like your mom would fold up the stuff with the wash, and the shoes were side by side, and the socks all balled up, and the trousers were all folded neatly, the shirt and the jacket all folded neatly. I just don't see Bigfoot taking the time to fold the clothes.
Hey, you never know. I mean, could be a polite Bigfoot. You never know.
He'd have to be really polite. But getting back to portals, look,
let's hold the portals. Let's hold the portals until we get back from break, because I think that's an important part of this conversation.
Okay.
Butch Witkowski's Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. Butch's next appearance will be Monday, February 24th. Final Monday of every month. I think I said Friday. Either way, we'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really. Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Past the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you. You can check them out while we are you're listening to us. Butch Witkowski's Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month, and we got Butch back on the line, his website, uforcop.com. Butch, right before the break, we were talking about portals, and you wanted to get into this a little bit.
Yeah. Portals have been around for a long time, as far as reports go. In the Bigfoot realm or the crypto realm, something is seen, and then it just vanishes. Or I guess the one that I thought was pretty much one of the best ones I've ever read, and it was videoed where a guy, now you couldn't really, it was shooting across a field, but the guy saw tracks and started with his cell phone taking film. And, he just saw something go over like a little ridge, and then he got about halfway so he could see the back of something, which he described as just a tall, hairy, whatever. And you can see it just gone, like it just walked out of sight. There is a lot of reports of UFOs that do that all the time. They're seen, they're watched, or they're being filmed, and they'll just gone. It's like they just enter another realm. Portals, I don't pass them off because nobody really knows what they are other than, other dimensions and stuff like that. But, could there be such a thing? Yeah, why not? I mean,
have you ever... Let me cut you off there for a quick second. Have you ever received any phone calls through UFO Cop about weird portals that may be popping up in the forest or people's yards or wherever?
Yeah, with the steps in the woods, where we had gotten a report of a set of stairs in a wooded area, and they were seen by like 3 or 4 different people. And a group of researchers went out there, and they could actually see, as they were approaching, they were about a quarter mile out, they could see the stairway. And when they got into about, a little closer, maybe halfway to that point, they just vanished. Like they weren't there. But all 4 guys saw it. Look at there's UFO reports that go back a little bit, not too far back, maybe in the late 50s, early 60s, where something was seen in the sky, and a guy in his car stopped, and everybody's watching. Next thing you know, the guy in his car are gone. Gone.
See, that's when I hear of things like that, that's where I think that there is something mysterious to it, right? And then you hear of all these strange reports of people saying, look, you got to be careful when you go up into the forest. I know there's a couple places up here that people are forewarned, that they're old First Nations type areas, and there's allegedly these portals or links to different dimensions that are out there, and you don't want to believe it. It sounds way too romantic to, on the paranormal side, in order to, for our people on Twitter, I should say woo-mantic, right? In order to try and figure out what is truly going on. However, when you look at the ideas that people are seeing this stuff, and these are stories and legends that have been passed on for generations, I always like to think that there is something to that. I mean, I might be wrong, but I always try to believe a little bit at least.
Well, there's stuff that happens that are so far from the way our minds react to it. It's, sometimes you listen to or you read a report and you go like, this is just nuts. There's no way this could happen. And when you really stop and think about it, you're going like, well, why couldn't it happen? Portals have been discussed throughout time. During World War II, ships disappearing. I just all kind of stuff over time is. I guess I can't remember the name of the destroyer, but there was a destroyer. It wasn't ours. It was I think it was French. I think it was a French destroyer during World War II. It was on escort duty in the North Atlantic, and it was the destroyer was sitting between 3 or 4 other ships that were carrying cargo, but it was there to for anti-submarine duty, and the crew that was on the ship that was right in front of the destroyer said there was just this kind of weird blue light that flashed, and the ship was gone. Everybody stopped and started searching, for debris and stuff like that. They never found that ship. And it's been stricken from the archive. Actually, the ship has been stricken from the archives of the French Navy, like it never existed.
Strange. Do you think these portals? See, and this is what I posed to our audience here and a few other guests, and I'm not sure how true it is. All right. But to me, say that person, who disappears that is reported on one of the missing 411 books or wherever it may be. I'm not saying all the times, but some of the time. Okay. Butch, what's the chances of them walking through a portal and on their end, when they walk through, everything is normal? But on our end, they're gone. Is that hypothetically possible?
Sure. Yeah, that would be an alternate dimension, right?
Yeah.
If I walked out of my office now and disappeared from this office forever, but I turned around and walked back into my office, but I was in a different dimension. I mean, how would they even know that?
They wouldn't. We do, because they're gone on our part. They're totally gone.
On our side. On our side, I'd be gone, but on my side, I'd be just walking back into my office.
Exactly. That's what doesn't make sense to me. That's what creeps me out. No. I'll be honest, that's something that keeps me up at night, is wondering about this.
Well, there have been a couple researchers over, in the UFO realm that have looked into portals and other dimensions and stuff like that. And it's one of those deals where 50% say yes, and the other 50% say you're crazy. But how many Bigfoot reports? How many Bigfoot reports where people say they were watching a Bigfoot and it just disappeared? Lots. There's lots of reports like that. Like going down the rabbit hole.
The woo is in peak form right now. We have officially hit peak woo. Officially. That's where we want to go. That's where we want to be. And I know the Twitter crowd's going to be pretty happy with that. They better be, at least. So we nailed it. Nailed it, Butch, with that one. I want to get to Gail's.
What did we
What's
nail?
that? Peak Woo.
What did we nail?
Peak Woo. We finally got there.
What the hell is that?
Well, you're going to have to go to our Spaced Out Radio store, the SOR Vault, and get yourself a T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Exactly. Peak Woo T-shirts on sale now. Butch Witkowski specials. There we go. That's when things go a little bit unbelievable. Well, to an extreme. Yes.
Okay.
We get the woo factor. But when we multiply that by 10, we get peak woo. That's all right. We aim for it every night, my friend. We aim for it every night. And okay. I know Derek on Twitter must be absolutely shocked right now because he hasn't responded yet. And usually when he gets into the peak woo scenario, I mean it's like a drug for him. He starts shaking and vibing and all that kind of stuff. He just gets real excited. So we do it for them. We do it for them. All right, but okay. No. Anyhow, I want to get to Gail's comment here, and Gail, I think, makes a really good comment. She goes, "I don't find it odd at all, Butch, that Bigfoot would fold the clothes. They are masters of mimicking or recreating what they have seen, are they not?"
Yes, that's true. Yes, but how would they know? How would they know how to do that? Like the shoes side by side, the socks put into balls inside the shoes, the shirt and pants and everything else all folded up neatly like it was just washed. Unless they're a lot smarter than I think they are.
Well, could be. All right, we got a question from Greco on Twitter. And this is in regards to caves and caverns. He is asking, has there, to your knowledge, Butch, ever been any study into lakes or caverns that are obscured from the surface? Bigfoots have been seen swimming too.
The only one that I know of, it wasn't in Pennsylvania, it was in Ohio. I can't even think of the name of the lake. It's a big fishing lake where a guy in a boat fishing saw what he described as a Bigfoot go into the water and go under the water and not come out again. Now, I don't know what that means, whether he was a good swimmer and he swam onto the other side or he swam into an underground. Because, you got to remember, and a lot of people don't put this into their equation, before this country was what it is, this was a volcanic area. I mean, there were volcanoes everywhere. There's volcano tubes every place. In Washington, up in your area, there's there's caverns that were cut by the Ice Age, and I mean, there's just so many places. There's a park up in western Pennsylvania where at the top of the mountain there's just a small cave, not a big deal, maybe 60, 70 feet long inside, nothing special, just a cave, probably from the Ice Age, whatever. And every now and then I'll get a report from that area where somebody sees a ball of light shoot out of that cave. What the hell is that about?
That we don't know.
No, and there's a lot of Bigfoot reports where they're seen around water, either fishing or eating, or just sitting there, doing nothing. Don't know.
That's where, like if I look at the case of Ogopogo up here at Okanagan Lake, that's where they believe that there are these underground caverns and tunnels that connect a bunch of the interior lakes, and that's why this creature has been seen elsewhere. Outside of the gentleman who we had on a couple of years ago who believed that Ogopogo had wings and could fly to different lakes, that was that was kind of odd and strange at the same time. That was total peak woo when we go there, Butch. You know, Ogopogo with wings. That's good stuff right there. We like that stuff.
Yes, well, you know, some of the stories though, you know, you don't know how to take them. I mean, you just take them for what they are. I mean, it's a report or it's something you read. It doesn't necessarily mean that you believe it. My thing with caves has always been if Bigfoot really does need shelter of some time, or if there has to be a place where they're old and young that have to be taken care of, a cave would be ideal. And in a state where we have, you know, like over 300 caves, I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, we have whole towns in this state that are abandoned. It'd take you a long time to go through everything, but the larger caves that go back, you know, 300, 400, 500 feet, who's going to walk in there? A lot of these places are in god-awful places just to reach. You can't drive to them. You know, you might get within an hour or so, a mile or so close to them, and then you got to hike into them. And then we have reports of some of the dumbest stuff, you know, and you can't say, well, that's crazy, that doesn't exist, that's just nuts. I mean, you know, Ole Valley, Pennsylvania, which is a very small town. And, you know, you wouldn't expect anything out of there. 2 years ago, they had 20 Bigfoot reports in 3 weeks. That's a lot. Got
no
prints.
Kidding.
The prints were taken. Then they found a cropping of rocks in a field where these things were seen during that period. Excuse me. And on the rocks were petroglyphs in the middle of a cornfield. So took photos of them and sent them off, and everybody just said, no, the old Indian petroglyphs, that's it. Whatever they are, they are. What they mean, nobody knows, but those rocks have been there a couple, 300 years, and they were carved in that rock. But one of the drawings on the rock resembled a big man with long arms. So,
any aliens?
No, looked more like a Bigfoot. It was, you know, just a big guy, big heavy guy. And then they had like I said, 20 reports. That's crazy. A place like that, I wouldn't even, if somebody asked me the chances of having a Bigfoot report in Ole, I'd laugh at them. Like, Ole, there must be, like, there's a gas station on one corner, a meat store on the other corner, a gas station on the other corner, and that's it, buddy. Rest is all farmland.
I want to switch gears here because now that we're a month into 2020 and you're back on your feet, getting back into the investigation side of everything, what are some of the strange reports you have had this year? Can you go into detail with one of them? Because we got about 4.5 minutes before we got to go to break.
I guess the one that was really close here to where I moved to. We were probably living here maybe 6 months, and I had a report come over on the website, and I called the guy, and he actually came down to the house with his wife, and we sat in the library, and he started telling me the story. He said, "Are you familiar with Neversink Mountain?" And I said, "Yeah, I grew up on that mountain. That's where I lived all my life, pretty much." And he said, "Well, do you know where such and such a road is?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I used to work, he still does." He said, "I work at the inspection station up the street." He said, "And the boss asked me to take the bank deposit and drop it off." He said, "Which takes me out of my way." He said, "But I can take a shortcut on the what they call the first track, which runs along the bottom of the base of the mountain." And he said, "Do you know where the big turn is?" I said, "Yeah, I know exactly where it's at." He said, "Well," I came around that turn. He said, and something jumped out in front of me. He said, I didn't see it right away. It just jumped out in front of me. I stopped. And he said, I could almost see through it. And I said, well, what did it look like? He said, well, in a matter of less than a minute, he said, I was looking at a bipedal, and he looked at the picture we have in my office, in my library. He said, that's what I was looking at. I said, and? He said, so I started to go slowly around it. It was now on the other side of the road at the guardrails. And he said, as I drove past it, reached out to try to grab the door handle. He said, and that's when I stepped on it. And I said, you got to be kidding me. He went like, no. He said, and I slowed down, looked in the rearview mirror. He said, then it got like translucent. He said, I could see through it again. And he said, it just stepped over the guardrails and into the woods. He said, so I went up to the next turnaround. He said, which is up around 19th Street in Fairview. I said, yeah, I know where you're at. And he said, I turned around, went back. He said, and where it stepped on the guide wire for the guardrail, he said it actually bent it. Now, that stuff's 1-inch thick cable. So I drove up the following day, exactly to where he said it happened, and the cable was actually kinked, like something, like something heavy laid on it. And about, maybe a month and a half, 2 months before I had my heart attack, I went up again, and the kink wasn't there anymore. And it wasn't new cable. So what was that all about?
Well, if you try and straighten something out, it doesn't ever straighten back again on cables. Kind of has a little bit of a bend in it.
That was just way too odd, especially the translucent. I couldn't understand what he meant, that he could see through it. And I said, well, what did it look like when you could see through it? He said, tall. It just looked tall. And then it kind of took shape. And now that's the first one I've ever had of anything that was translucent, other than down at the farm with the things up on the roof of the chicken coop, which, by the way, are still there.
Nice. We've got about 55 seconds left here. So with that translucent, I mean, that almost equals cloaking, Butch.
Mm. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Well, I just did.
I don't know. I mean, that was just that to me was as strange as the one down in Ole. Like, when I'm saying this town is small. And, I did some background research. There was never anything in that town. No paranormal, no UFO reports, no nothing. And to have those reports, 20 reports, in that time period is just, to me, is unbelievable. And only 2 came from the same person. The rest were all different.
And on that note, Butch, I'm going to get you to hold on here because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. We got Butch Witkowski for another 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio before we bring in the news of the night with the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio right around the corner here. Stay tuned.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the story you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really. The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thieler. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
We're underway in the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Welcome back, all our listeners, especially those listening in on KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California. Joe Montaldo's UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia. KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon. And KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas. On the digital side, we're proud to broadcast on Bardell's Kingdom of an Eye Radio and Revolution Radio. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Ilogo Fuscio Hippopopo Cunarius. In other words, tractor is your password. Tractor. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on your SOR Newswire. For the final time tonight, we introduce from UFOcop.com, Butch Witkowski with Strange Days. Butch shows up the final Monday of every month to hang out and talk everything weird and strange with us. Butch, welcome back.
Yes, sir. Where are we at now?
Okay, I got to ask you this, Butch, because I'm in a little bit of a conundrum here, personally. That conundrum is this. You know how I brag about my ghost tour that I run in the community and the money we raise for that museum, and it's a nonprofit organization. I'm pretty proud of that. Pretty proud.
Right.
Well,
right.
we happen to have this guy on the society committee. He's a little bit of a lone wolf. He's a new guy up here and trying to make some friends and everything, and he's pretty handy around the museum. Well, about a couple months before I noticed something, all right, I noticed that the big barn that we use, where we've got the incredible photographs from, it's one of our most active buildings and popular buildings on the tour. All of a sudden, the action, all the paranormal action just seemed to stop. All right, and it was a little weird. It was a little weird because that barn, it didn't matter, Butch. Like I would place K2 meters in all of our group's hands and let them walk in first, and they would literally be greeted by spirits at the door. All the K2 meters would go off, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. Didn't know why until our final tour of the year, where this guy on the executive decided that he was going to put an old jail cell up in one of the horse stalls. Makes no sense to be there. There's a carving of a name in it. All right? It's just bad energy. And so Mike Morin from Haunted Crew of Canada and Ghosts of the Great White North on this show, he's been up here all weekend. And we went out there on Saturday night to check it on out.
Okay.
And he even got those weird feelings. And about 45 minutes into our investigation, we only investigated the jail cell area. Mike and I both saw what looked like a giant spider, a shadow spider, about 3-4 foot long, scamper along the ceiling right above us, in between us and the jail cell. It was kind of eerie. I've never seen anything like that before. All right? It was not impressive. Didn't like it. Now, my impression of it is that this is bringing in bad karma, bad juju, whatever you want to call it, into this barn. And now I have to figure out whether or not I'm going to participate in this tour in raising money, much needed money for the museum, because in my gut feeling, we're putting people at danger here, Butch, by bringing in such a negative piece of history like a jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts?
What possessed him to do that? I mean, what direction did he want to go with that?
Well, the jail cell had apparently been in the barn for a number of years and never used because they didn't really have a place to put it. Okay, so it had been sitting there or lying in one of the empty stalls, locked up for years. And he decided
so it was never in use in that building?
No. So he decided to pick a stall, which could be the stall where we captured the image of the horse, even though we believe it's one stall up from that. But he decided, because he doesn't believe in the paranormal, he thinks it's all hokey, because he'll be more than glad to tell you he's been a firefighter he retired as a firefighter after 35 years. All right. He doesn't believe in any of this stuff. He thinks it's all a bunch of canny jokes and garbage, right? That there's nothing truthful about the paranormal. So because he doesn't think it exists, it doesn't exist.
Wow. Well, he's disturbed something.
Yeah.
And in the paranormal, that cannot be a good thing.
My concern is for the safety of the people. Because even if we are able to clear that spirit out, that does not mean at all that the previous spirits there are going to come back. And that is a concern. So even if we clear that, I mean, the guy has absolutely messed with one of our most popular attractions to the museum.
I just can't figure out what the reason he did that. That just doesn't make any sense.
No.
But you're right.
I'll tell you, it's an uncomfortable feeling. It's an uncomfortable feeling trying to figure out whether or not I should continue doing the tours. We were not asked. We were not addressed. We were not brought in. I have since talked to a couple of the other museum officials, because there's a board of about 7 people, And I said, one of the questions I was asked was, how come when we do all of this stuff and we put all this stuff, we don't get any of the paranormal activity, yet you guys are? And my response was, you're not looking for it. You're not trying to bring it out. So when we bring out the spirits going on the tour, we're trying to connect with them. If they're upset about something, we get it. You don't. Because we're the ones trying to connect with them.
Right.
What would Butch Witkowski do in this situation?
Put him in there and throw the key away. I would probably try, see what happens, see if, what was going on there before is still going on. But I don't think it's going to be. I mean, when you disturb something, it usually changes the whole thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, you could try, but you don't want to put anybody in harm's way either.
No, and that's kind of my point. That is kind of my point. Is it's a little eerie. It was eerie going in there. I don't usually get uncomfortable at the museum. I am very, very uncomfortable in that building now.
The stall that he took the stuff out of, was there anything else in there?
There was shavings on the ground for horses.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, you won't know unless you go back and try again. But
well, put it this way: we had 3 tours where that barn was, lack of a better term, pun intended, it was dead. There was nothing happening there. Nothing. And now it's the same way.
I just don't see what his point was. I mean, why, when you have something that you're looking at that that you're taking care, researching or doing something like, you don't want to ever change anything, or build onto or detract from. It's like, why didn't you just tear the roof off the place?
Well, you'd think, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's made a lot of friends through this.
Well, the big question is safety. Well, the thing is, we have tried. We have tried. Okay. And the first tour we did, once the jail cell was up, we had 2 people leave almost instantaneously because they weren't feeling very good around it.
Uh-oh.
We had a number of people feeling very upset, picking up extreme negative energy, obviously. And the museum says, well, we're not going to move it. It's heavy. My gut tells me I shouldn't go back.
Well, I mean, if you got people getting sick inside, then you don't want to go back. You don't want to have anything get attached to you and bring it home. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just don't see his purpose. What he was going to gain by that.
Neither do I. the negative connotations that a jail cell brings in, all right, is only obvious. It's obvious, especially if it's a real jail cell, not like a makeshift one for a museum or anything, but a real jail cell. Mm-hmm. And it looks like, by the way, he might be putting a second one up right beside it.
Oh, boy.
So the question is, what kind of negativity, being a former police officer that you are, comes with being around a jail cell?
Well, everything's negative. There's no positive. I just can't believe he did something like that. That makes no sense at all. None.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
And the thing is, like I said, like if they're not willing to move the jail cell, and because of the negativity that is now in there, the responsibility falls on my shoulders for the tour. Okay? The safety falls on my shoulders for the tour. This is where I'm having a conundrum. Because when people come to our museum and our tour for two reasons. Number one, they come for the post house, which has the legend of Agnes McVie, which allegedly she murdered up to 60, 65 people, all right, back in the 1800s, stealing their gold and everything. And then there is the photograph that you've seen from the stairwell on the second floor, which, by the way, that dude hasn't even been around upstairs.
What a dumbass.
Yeah.
I just get away from it. There's too many things there that could go sour real quick.
Absolutely. Problem is, two members of my team still want me to go. Mike thinks I should still do it because of the positivity it brings to the museum and the community. I just don't feel safe.
Wow. I don't know what to tell you there, buddy.
It's a frustrating time. A frustrating time, my friend.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with spirits in a jail cell before?
No.
Would you?
No.
Why?
Well, these people that go down to like Eastern Penitentiary and stuff like that, I mean, they see shadow people, people get ill, people get pushed down steps, it's just weird shit. Just weird. I mean, people have gotten hurt bad. One guy, I think it was East. That was at Eastern Penitentiary. He got about halfway down a set of metal steps, like going from like one tier to another, like a second floor to a first floor. And he didn't trip. I mean, there were people standing there. They saw him coming down the steps. It's just like somebody pushed him, and he got a fractured skull, broken nose. Got boogered up pretty bad.
Vicious. I guess with the violence that goes along with jail. Never mind the acts that were committed in order to put someone in there. You sound frustrated.
Unreal. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I don't know why anybody would do that. I mean, why would they do that? That just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, there were things that were seen there, that were documented there, and then he kind of changes it all around for whatever benefit, which I can't understand. And then there you are.
It is as frustrating can be. Now I got the conundrum where either way I'm going to be a jerk. This is where I don't like being in this position. Because if I leave the tour, my teammates Mark and Tara still want to do it, which is fine, but they're going to be very disappointed because Mark's my best friend here in town, along with Mikey, my Bigfoot guy. All right? And they're going to be upset. The museum's going to be upset because there's probably not going to be the money coming in, and we're their biggest donor. And that's where it goes. So I'm caught between a rock and a hard place on what to do. And no matter what, I end up looking like the a-hole on either side.
I don't know, buddy. You're kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, I know. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all, Butch.
And you had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but either way, I end up looking like the jerk, man. I end up looking like the jerk because if I pull out, they may cancel the tour, and if Mark and Tara take it over, I look like a jerk in front of my friends. It sucks. It totally sucks. Anyways, we have about less than 90 seconds left with you tonight, and it's always a pleasure to have you here, my friend, and thanks for being a man of many words and telling us some great stories. But tell everybody where they can find your work, where they can report anything to you.
They can report anything on u4cop.com. There's right on the front page, there's a report section. Just push on that and you can make the report. If they need personal contact, just have them put in there their phone number and a good time to call them, and we'll get to them.
And that's anywhere in North America, the world.
Yes, sir.
You're everywhere. Butch Witkowski is everywhere, people. He is everywhere. I always love having you on, my friend. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. Well, I guess we will see you next on Monday, February 24th.
Yep.
You going out in the field before then? Or you got to wait for winter to be over?
There's two spots we got to check, basically for logistics to see if we can get the trucks in.
Perfect. All right, my friend, you have yourself a wonderful night. Really appreciate you taking the time for us and chatting with the people in our Spreaker chat room once again. It's always a pleasure.
Same here, buddy.
All right. Butch Witkowski, everyone. Strange Days happens the final Monday of every month. Butch will be back again on February 24th. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thielen. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Want to remind all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date with the SOR Newswire. Speaking of the news, let's get to it, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the wacky, and the sometimes very, very awesome. Start off in Nye County, Nevada, where a plaque and bench have been installed in memory of Art Bell, a longtime Pahrump resident, and of course, our famous hero and nighttime radio personality who passed away on April 13th, 2018 at the age of 72. A member of the National Radio Hall of Fame and the Nevada Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame, Bell is best known for his paranormal-based radio shows that he did. He was also the founder and original owner of K9 95.1 FM in 1999, which still operates today. The bench and plaque, which were paid for by friends and fans of Art Bell, with a contribution from the county, including the installation of the bench and plaque, were set up near a duck pond today. Congratulations to the Bell family for that beautiful tribute. All right, here's a weird one. This past weekend, a video of Donald Trump's spiritual advisor, Paula White, surfaced showing her preaching some potentially ungodly words. "We command any satanic pregnancies to miscarry right now," she says, before clarifying, "We declare that anything that has been conceived in satanic wombs, that it will miscarry. It will not be able to carry forth any plan of destruction, any plan of harm." White has since claimed that her words were taken out of context. Go figure. You just said it, and it was taken out of context. She wasn't praying for literal miscarriages, just metaphorical ones. Right. Whatever the case, it's not the most outlandish thing she's ever advocated. White has a close relationship with the president and his family. She offered a prayer at Trump's inauguration, brags about how she calls Trump first thing in the morning, but despite all of her talk about rejecting self-serving actions, she has also called her appointment as Trump's advisor an assignment from God. She also stated that the Lord wanted her to go on national television. White believes in a school of thought called prosperity theology, which sounds like a pyramid scheme. She believes that financial prosperity is a sign of God's approval, which means that God must really like her. She has a multi-million-dollar home in a gated community and a private jet, because, much like a couple of other prosperity preachers, you can't fly on regular flights with people because of all the demons that are on those planes. The evil, they can't do their work of God. Flying commercial. Oh, yes. UFO sightings reported and recorded by the Royal Air Force are now to be published online for the first time, as the RAF took the decision to wind up its UFO unit in 2009, after concluding that in more than 50 years, no received report had ever disclosed any evidence of a potential threat. Hey, Tom, are you listening to this one? Previously, records from the unit were given to the National Archives, often initially classified before being released after a specific number of years, but the most recent reports received by the RAF will be placed online, following a Freedom of Information Act request. Members of the public reporting alleged UFO sightings are now directed to their local police force. A spokesman for the RAF said that it has been assessed that it would be better to publish these records rather than continue sending documents to the National Archives, and so they are looking to put them onto a dedicated government.uk gov.uk webpage. A clearance process for the documents is currently underway before publication, which is expected to take some time within the first quarter of 2020. In response to the FOIA request, the RAF described the files it held as comprising entirely of correspondence with members of the public. It added the MOD has no opinion on the existence or otherwise of extraterrestrial life and does not investigate UFO reports. Now, this one just hopped into the news tonight, but there's a weird story happening around Uber. Yes, in Surrey, British Columbia, which is a suburb and a city outside of Vancouver, there is controversy right now over the ride-hailing that has gone unaddressed until council members met today. Councillor Linda Annis says she hopes Surrey residents will be able to book an Uber or Lyft in the city soon after her motion comes to council on February 10th. The whole purpose of my notice of motion was to get a deal in the city for ride-hailing sooner rather than later. The residents of Surrey have been waiting for ride-hailing for quite some time. However, Uber and Lyft have not been granted business licenses in the city. They have in Vancouver and other British Columbia areas as of just a couple of weeks ago. Like a week ago. Anna said she will be asking city staff to move forward on this, but here's the problem. Mayor Doug McCallum has steadfastly said he is opposed to ride-hailing, saying operators have an unfair advantage over taxi drivers. Over the weekend, city bylaw enforcement officers issued warnings to Uber and Lyft drivers picking up in the city, accusing them of picking up where they don't have a business license and threatening them with a $500 fine that would be sent to Uber and Lyft. The mayor has to take a sober second thought, the councillor says. We were elected by the residents of Surrey. The residents of Surrey are asking for ride-hailing. We need to not represent special interest groups like the cab drivers right now. We need to move on with it and let the market dictate what sort of services the residents will use. Also, it is provincial law that Uber and Lyft can work in British Columbia now. Doctors in Texas say a man who came in complaining of frequent headaches and a fainting spell may have had a tapeworm in his brain for over a decade. Officials at Ascension Seton said the Austin man came in after fainting in the middle of a soccer game last year and told doctors he had been experiencing severe headaches for months. An MRI revealed the man had a tapeworm inside his brain. Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm looking at the picture right now. It's not pretty. The worm was removed surgically, and the man is now recovering and reported to doctors that his headaches have ceased. Doctors said the man may have contracted the tapeworm by eating undercooked pork in Mexico more than a decade ago. They said the man's sister previously had a tapeworm removed from her brain years earlier. It was unclear whether the siblings contracted their tapeworms at the same time. That's just gross. That's actually just gross. Here's a cute story. You know, sometimes these best stories sure take a real jerk to make them happen. All right? So it looked like somebody abandoned some kittens in the frozen parts of northern Alberta in Canada. And these 3 kittens froze in the snow. Like they were frozen, like icicles, popsicles, if you want to call them that. Well, they were rescued by a quick-thinking man who used his coffee to thaw them out. This past Wednesday morning, oil patch worker Kendall DeWitch heard the tiny cries of the 3 kittens in the snow. The video, which was posted on Facebook and now gone viral, DeWitch records himself approaching the cats and discovers their tails are frozen to the ice. The fast-acting man then goes to his car, grabs a still warm coffee to free the kittens from the ice. So today, he quotes, I found these 3 little fellows, one on the back roads near one of my wells. Most likely dropped off. Poor things were frozen into the ice, so they had to have been there all night. Took them home, fed and watered them. They look to be healthy and friendly, DeWitch wrote on his Facebook. He reportedly took the kittens to a local rescue group to have them dewormed. Fortunately, the kitten story does not end there. Soon after he posted the likely life-saving video, DeWitch reported an update that all 3 kittens were adopted by the same home and are now thriving. All 3 little rascals went to their new home today where they get to be together instead of separating them. All 3 are eating and drinking and very energetic. Thanks for everyone's consideration and offering to take them. Very appreciated. Alberta SPCA shared the story that the animal shelter does not have a current investigation into what appears animal abandonment, citing the overpopulation of cats in the Canadian province as a cause for the disposal. The incident should serve as a reminder to everyone about the importance of getting their pets spayed or neutered, said spokesman Dan Kobe. Yeah, those found guilty of animal abandonment can face a fine of up to $20,000 as well as a lifetime ban on owning animals. Here's a strange one. And when I read this story, I went back to like the 70s, man. Yeah. Remember, what was that show called? Oh, it's just on the top of my tongue. You know, Rampart, the fire engine, Emergency, I believe it was called. Anyways, I remember watching this show where they had to go rescue a woman whose finger got caught in the kitchen sink. Not the garburator, the kitchen sink. Couldn't get her hand out. They had to go rescue her. Well, firefighters in Britain responded to a home where a woman had put her finger into a bathroom sink overflow drain and it became stuck. The London Fire Brigade said crews responded to a home in Hither Green to assist a woman whose finger was stuck in her bathroom sink overflow pipe. The lady had been told that she could clean out the sink waste pipe by pulling it out, but she couldn't and got her finger stuck. Station Officer Gary Deacon said she had been stuck for about 20 minutes before we arrived and called us once she got over her embarrassment and realized her finger was starting to hurt. Deacon said firefighters ended up destroying the sink to free the woman. We did try to dismantle the whole base unit, but in the end, we had to use a disc cutter and smash up the basin and get the whole thing out. We used wire snips to cut the plastic pipe from her finger. She was uninjured apart from her pride. It's the first time I've ever been called to this particular type of rescue, Deacon said. And finally, we're starting the week off with some very, very interesting Florida man. I mean, how can we not? It's almost a sense of pride around here. A Florida man was arrested after shining a laser pointer at multiple pilots making their approaches at Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, police have said. Charlie James Chapman faces multiple charges after police said he temporarily blinded one of the pilots. Video claims to show him throwing rocks and directing the laser at a Manatee County Sheriff's helicopter attempting to locate him. Pointing a laser at multiple aircraft didn't end well for Charlie Chapman Jr. He was arrested after pointing at one of the planes heading into SRQ Airport last night, and then our MCSO aviation unit helicopter even tried throwing rocks at it. It just didn't work. The MCSO aviation unit helicopter eventually located the suspect on a forklift near the airport where they directed deputies on the ground to surround him. Chapman allegedly grabbed a hammer and made a striking motion towards the deputies who deployed a taser and subdued him. It was later learned that Chapman shot his laser pointer on a fixed-wing plane 4 times, and one at the MCSO helicopter, police said. One of the pilots of the plane advised that the laser hit him directly in the eyes, causing temporary blindness. The pilot stated he still felt his eyesight was blurry from the laser. Chapman was reported and transported to Lakewood Ranch Medical Center, where he was cleared and sent to Manatee County Jail. They added that a laser pointer was found in his pocket. He was charged with aggravated assault at an officer, pointing a laser at a pilot with and without injury, and resisting without violence. What a good guy. Good, solid citizen there. Trying to cause a plane crash. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter page, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. Marty, I can't do this without the clown on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Marty's a little slow on the draw today, I think. I don't know why. Emergency was the show. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. I used to love that show as a kid. You know, especially I wanted to be one of the guys who drove the trailer part of the old fire trucks. Remember that? They had like the front driver in the cab, and then they had the back driver on the trailer. That always looked like the job I wanted. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe. Can we get started? There it is. Thank you, Marty. Appreciate that. Hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Make sure you give a follow and a like to at Retired Skeptic. Appreciate that. He's a Vietnam vet. Give him a hand. Absolutely. We love our veterans around here. Thank you for serving, Marty. All right. Today's Thought of the Dave. Have you had any strange activity or encounters in 2020 yet? If so, tell me what happened. Gail. Yes, there is one spot in my apartment where something gently tugs the back of my hair as I walk by. It's happened 3 times now, and I can't figure it out. My hair is very long, and there's nothing at that spot for it to catch on. I've begun saying, "Don't even think about it. I am Captain Shirk," as I walk by. Oh, nice. Way to grill it, Gail. Gonna scare it right off there. It's petrified. Play some Rob Zombie. You'll enjoy that. Bobby. The charge for my smartwatch went missing. The watch was running low, looked for it in the evening, and no luck. Next morning, I looked for it again, and nothing. Then the power went out, and 5 minutes later, I found the charger on a table right in front of me. Yes, I had searched there. Gabe. I've been lucky so far. Coral. Had a couple of kind of weird things happen already. You know, I work at a very old one of the first built buildings in Roslyn Avenue. Along the dividing wall have a row of deep freezes which butt up into the corner. On the freezer at the very high end of the row, we store a toddler booster seat and a tray from a high chair. This past Friday, another worker and I were standing at the front counter discussing which desserts to have that day. All of a sudden, the tray from the high chair sailed off the top of the deep freeze and onto the floor below. There were only 3 of us in the building, and we were not in that area. Today, after the building was empty of clients, and while all of us were eating lunch, a large column of rigid plastic totes fell over onto the hallway, spilling the contents of the uppermost tote onto the floor again. There was no one in the immediate area to knock the totes down. It's a weird place. I believe we have at least one ghost or spirit in the building. Oh, this is funny, Kelly. Kelly put a picture. He was in Florida. He lives in Florida. He was at some event this past weekend. And his caption is, "I think I saw a ghost." Why? Because he saw someone walking around in a Macho Man Randy Savage wrestling outfit. the tassels and everything. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice. The cowboy hat, the tassels, got the Macho Man frizzy hair. Definitely not in the shape of Macho Man, but I think Macho Man died in like 2009 or 2011. Maybe sooner than that. He crashed his Jeep. Sad story, actually. Speaking of Marty, the only weird thing is that the theory of 3 people dying has come true again. We aren't even through January yet, and already there have been 3 funerals for friends of mine, 2 of which passed away since New Year's Day. The other passed away between Christmas and New Year's, but the funeral was on January 2nd. Everett, Skype worked flawless for me. So yeah, that was weird. Penman, no. Why do you ask, Dave? Do you know something I don't know? And finally, Robert. Yep, strange things. I went to Walmart. After, went home, had a drink, and a solid laugh. That's your thought of the day for today. Thank you for everybody participating and playing along. We really appreciate it. Of course, we'll do it all again tomorrow on Twitter and Facebook. Big thanks to Captain Shirk for coming on and hanging on out with some great news on the SOR Newswire, which could be found at spacedoutradio.com. And, of course, to the big guy, Mr. Cranky himself, Butch Witkowski from UFOcop.com. He comes in the final Monday of every month for Strange Days. Butch will be back on Monday, February 24th, and it's going to be good to have him back on then because he's going to get a couple of investigations under his belt, and we'll talk about those. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everybody in the chat rooms on Spreaker, LGAB, Revolution Radio, the SOR Space Travelers on Facebook, and the SOR Space Travelers Club on our website. Remember, that's only $5 a month. You can also hang out at Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio like Marty and everyone. You got to be a snarker or snarkette to have some fun there. Want to remind you that this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Want to say a big thanks for kicking off your week with us. We had a fun night tonight, but guess what? We get to do it all again tomorrow. So come join us, will you? Because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. Ryan Stacy from Tessa joins us tomorrow night talking UFO statistics. We'll see you then. Good night.